Hey, I'm Russ Jones. Welcome back to Smoky Ribs. You can probably notice behind me, I've got the Lonestar Grillz offset smoker fired up once again. On my last video, I asked everyone if they were interested in seeing how to make the bacon jalapeno mac and cheese, and I had a real good feedback on that. So guess what? We're going to be showing you how to do that today. But first, what I'm going to be showing you is how to kind of duplicate like real traditional barbecue, the way it started out there on the East Coast. People out there, and a lot of them still do, they believe in doing the whole hog, all the meat. To them, that is true barbecue, the only true barbecue. And the difference in taking a whole hog versus your subprimals like we can get in any grocery store, years ago that you couldn't do that. You know, you got the whole animal, you'd have to dissect it yourself for individual cuts. But on a barbecue, they'd cook the whole animal. And the one thing that is missing in today's pulled pork with a lot of barbecue is being able to mix in your pork belly, which is the creme de la creme of your pork meat. That is the best tasting of pork. And mix that in with some of your shoulder roast. Back in those days, they mixed it all in, but that real sweet pork belly was what really made it delicious. So kind of mimicking that, I'm really doing a real small pork butt today, and I'm doing a small pork belly. But we're going to combine the two. We're going to see what we end up with. On my last cook, I added water into the bottom of this pit. This thing will hold up to 4 inches. If you'll look on the inside of the firebox, the wall that welds to the pipe, you have 4 inches that you can actually fill with water. Now, I'm not probably going quite that high, but I probably will go about 3.5. Maybe somewhere around 5 gallons. I was so impressed not only with the moisture in the meat from doing this, but the cleanup. I'm going to show you the cleanup at the end of this video to show you why this is so good. All right, we're going to go ahead and throw some charcoal in between these two logs. Stack of some wood, 2 logs on top of that. All right, what I have here is a little 3.5 pound pork butt, and I have about 3.5 pounds of pork belly. Now this pork belly comes from a local Asian market about not even a half a mile from here, and they lay these whole hogs up on the counter, and the way they do these bellies, instead of blocking them off like you normally see them, where they're all the same thickness, they are just cutting strips. They get like, you know, 3 strips of these off of one side of the pork belly, and that's the way they're selling them. I'm not exactly sure how they or what they do with these like this. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Go ahead and cut this right here, and I'm going to apply mustard. I'm going to be applying this seasoning here. This is a Swimming in Smoke Booty Shake. This is their hot version. I had such a request last week for the hot ribs. I did one hot rib, I did one regular original mild, and everybody was wishing they had some more of those hot ribs. So that's what we're going with here. Now we're going to go on with this rub. Put us a generous amount on all sides except for the skin side. That's just useless. We're just going to let these sit here and rest, waiting on our smoker to level out, come up to temp, and balance out, and we'll be back. So I'm going to put my pork butt right back here. This is my pork belly. This is half of this long pork belly. We're going here. And we're going here. Now that's a lot thinner than this, and this is thinner than that. So I'm going to monitor how these cook, and I will move this to a little bit cooler part of the grill if needed. That, or I'll pull it once it's ready, wrap it up in foil, and wait on these right here. That'd probably be the better option. The sun is extremely bright out here, but I'm going to try to shade this to where you can see it. I'm running at 252 on the firebox side. On the meat side, I'm running 258. That's 6 degrees difference from one side to the other. So I have these tuning plates pretty much where I want them. Now, one thing you got to keep in mind about offset, every time you stoke that fire or poke that fire and get that fire increasing, for a little while you're going to have very erratic temperatures all over this grill. You got to let it settle back in, and it's perfectly settled in. If you'll take a look at this smoke, it's a little bit of a white smoke, but it's not real heavy, it's not billowing. And when it settles down a little bit more, what you're going to find is your temperatures come closer in line, and you won't even hardly be able to see a smoke. Meat has been on around 2 hours. Let's take a look and see what we're looking like. Looking good from my vantage point. All right, keeping with the Carolina theme, I'm going on with a mop sauce. Now this mop sauce is 1/2 cup of apple cider vinegar. I put 1/4 cup water to kind of dilute that strongness from vinegar somewhat. I also added in some cayenne, some red pepper flakes, some black pepper, a little bit of salt. Now I didn't measure anything. I put it in a pot and I just went accordingly. And I brought this up to a heat and I simmered it for roughly 5 minutes. Oh, and I also used a little bit of maple syrup, pure maple syrup, and the reason being, it not only adds just a little bit of sweetness to this, it really puts a nice glaze on this meat. After about 3 or 4 applications of this mop, you'll see it starting to glisten, get more of a sheen to it. All right, we're going to just let it ride like that for now. We're going to close her up. Every time you get a new grill, new smoker, it takes a few cooks to figure it out, and I'm thinking I've about got this one figured out. If you look right here, you'll see the small fire I've got. I mean, that's nothing compared to the size of this firebox. And that's what it's taken. It's a good clean fire. It's on fire. The smoke is very minimal. And that's what it's taken to hold my temperature where I want it at about 250 degrees. And I have to add like a little small 6-7 inch log every 45 minutes. Whether it needs it or not, just do that. It's not going to increase it much at all. And I've learned that about it. So at first I thought, you know, stack it up, really get it blazing fire, you'll get it out of control like that. So on my third cook, or actually second cook, third time of firing it up, I'm really dialing this smoker in. Very little fuel consumption. I'm loving it. And as you can see, my lower vent is fully open. This is the same size as the stack, the exhaust. So we got a 100% airflow through this pit. All right, so as you can see, I made some adjustments here. I noticed there was a cold spot back here. I noticed it last weekend, or the last video that is, on that pork butt. It was running behind in temperature. So I'm colder on the back of the grate than I am here in the front. So what I've done is I put the little 3.5 pound pork butt, which is probably by now 2.5 pounds. I put it over here. This needs to cook longer than this, and then this will finish up first, I'm hoping. So we're going to go ahead and put one more mop on this. It's looking really good, looking killer. So we are getting really close now. I took my pork belly, part of my pork belly, and put it back here earlier. This thing is more than done. We're going to set that there on the aluminum foil. We're going to take this little pork butt that is just about ready to fall apart. We're going to put this on the aluminum foil. And I have a little stubborn piece here that is sitting on the skin. Actually, the skin is just separated. So I'm going to remove that. We're going to put that right there. All right, so I'm going to take this pork. We're going to drop it down in this angle cooler. A lot of people take and put towels in here, and they put towels on top. Let me tell you, with that angle cooler, you ain't got to do nothing but drop that in there. I promise you, in 3 hours, it will still be steaming. We're going to blister these on both sides I'm gonna put them in the oven and get that going on right now. So I've got my pan preheated. Now we're gonna go in with 1/2 pound of bacon. You want to cook this bacon down till it's nice and crispy. For this mac and cheese, I'm starting off with 1.5 sticks of salted butter. I'm on a medium heat. I'm going to add in 1 cup of all-purpose flour. Now all you really want to do with this flour is just mix it in. You just want to let this heat through for about 5 minutes just to get rid of that flour taste. Been going about 5 minutes on this roux, butter and flour. Now we're going to take a pot with some warm milk. We're going to pour about half of this in there. As you can see, it's starting to thicken immediately. Let's go in with the other half. Or almost half, not quite. That is still getting super thick. So let's go ahead and pour the rest of it. This milk is representing about 3/4 of a gallon. Oh yeah, now we're starting to look about where we need to be. So now we're going to go in with our cheeses. And what I have here is I have 2 pounds of Gruyere. And I have 1 pound of sharp cheddar. Let's go in some more. I don't want to use all this. I'm going to use some of it to put as a topping along with some panko breadcrumbs and with some black pepper. Let's add in these jalapeños that I took earlier and I roasted them under the broiler on all sides. Then I put them in a Ziploc bag to where they could steam to where they would peel easily. And here we go. Seeds in. I took 1/2 pound of bacon. Some really good bacon. It's the Wright's brand. Thinking back on what I just said, I might have told you wrong. It's 1 pound of Gruyere and 1/2 pound of sharp cheddar. And now we're going in with some cream cheese. Keep stirring this until all that cream cheese gets incorporated and melts into this already very cheesy sauce. Just stay tuned. You talk about good. So all we got to do is just spoon on some sauce. This nice, thick, cheesy sauce. The whole object is to have all this pasta completely swimming in cheese sauce. We're not quite there yet, but we're getting there. So now I'm going to take the remainder of this cheese and we're just going to spread it across the top. That is the rest of the cheese. Now, check this out. Here is the pan that I fried the bacon in. You can see all the grease. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take these panko breadcrumbs and we're going to soak them in that bacon grease before they go on top. Alright, now I'm getting ready to pop this in a 350-degree oven. We'll be back. So I'm expecting this to be very juicy and very tender. Oh yeah, look at this. Look at the steam coming out of that. 2 hours later. The sweetness from that meat is so much different than the pork shoulder. Mixed in together on a sandwich, you're gonna love it. We're just waiting on the mac and cheese. I don't know if that bun's gonna cut it. That looks awful small to me, but here we go. We're gonna pile on some pulled pork mixed with this pork belly. I want to show you Jalapeño's, Biloxi, Mississippi. This sauce has been around for a while and I just discovered it. This isn't necessarily Carolina style, but we're going to put a little bit on there. You can see how much is missing. I just bought that this week. It's almost gone. And he has another This is the non-spicy. I love the spicy, so here we go. We're going to drizzle just a little bit of that on here. Is that good looking sauce or what? Jalapeno bacon mac and cheese. Oh my goodness, it's hot. Alright, we're going for a taste test.
Don't put that mac and cheese on.
I'm telling you, if you have never mixed pork shoulder with pork belly, you need to. Pulled pork sandwiches, easy, very easy. My God, that's delicious. Oh man, creaminess. Right off the bat, you taste exactly what it is. It's jalapeno bacon mac and cheese. The flavors are in there. It's got a little kick to it. If you don't like spicy, stay away from this. I put the seeds in. It's not hot. It's really good. It's excellent. Outstanding results all the way around. Hope you enjoyed it. Until next time, Smoker Ribs. But don't go away yet. Stay tuned. I'm going to show you just how easy it is to wash out this Lonestar Grillz after a cook. Until next time, Smoker Ribs.